guy's fighting his way through. He says, come on, guys, what are you doing? I want to get across the river. And he climbs over them, and he gets to the river, and he starts walking across the river, and he sees all the other guys having a drink, and he thinks, yeah, I might have a little drink. You guys are crazy. Has a drink, and Gideon goes, yes, stay. And then go, 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 go. Yes, stay. Go, 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 stay. Go, 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 stay. Lord, that one's really buff. Can we keep him? Go, stay. And after he's done his go stay for hours on end with his generals, 9,700 men have gone home. Nearly the whole army knelt down to drink. And Gideon has his 300, the real 300. And these 300 are standing on the shore of the river with Gideon. And Gideon looks at his 300 men. I'm sure he counted them a few times. And then he looks up at God and says, are you happy now? And gets no response. And that night, as he's sleeping in his bed, and he's tossing and he's turning and he can't sleep, he knows the enemy is just over that ridge right there, and the enemy has thousands upon thousands of men, and he has 300 little men, and he thinks, this is ridiculous. What's going to happen to us tomorrow? We're going to be slaughtered. If we don't do something now, if we don't run, we're going to all die. I don't know what to do. And he's tossing and turning, and then he hears the voice of God. Are you scared, Gideon? Yes, I'm scared, Lord. I'm so scared. I've never been this scared in my life. Then wake up your servant and take him over the hill with you and walk into the enemy's camp. Into the enemy's camp? Yes. Just be careful. You'll do fine. Okay. And so he gets up and he wakes up his servant. Shh, don't wake up the man. Come. Where are we going? God's asked me to walk over the ridge and down into the enemy's camp. God's asked you to what? Yeah, God said that, he asked me if I was scared, and I said yes. You told God you were scared? Yeah, I am scared. Aren't you scared? Yeah, I'm scared, but God doesn't talk to me. Well, he talked to me. And he asked me, Gideon, are you scared? And I said, yes, I'm scared. And he said, well, then take your servant. Why did he say you have to take me? I don't know. He just said I had to take you, so come with me. And so Gideon and his servant climb up this ridge in the middle of the night. And they start climbing down the other side. And as they get there, in the darkest part of the night, they see one sentry watching, scouting around. And he looks really tired. And he yawns, oh, time for a shift change. So he makes his way down to wake up the soldier to take his place. And they follow him carefully and quietly behind. And as they get close, they're standing next to a tent. And the servant says, what are we supposed to do now? He said, I don't know, God just told me to come into the enemy's camp. Well, we're right up against a tent. Is this in enough? I think it probably is. And then from inside the tent, they heard, oh my goodness, that was the weirdest dream I've ever had. And what are you talking about? Would you be quiet? My goodness, I was trying to sleep. I just had the weirdest dream. It was the freakiest dream I've ever had. Oh, goodness. You and your dreams. Tell me about your dream. What happened? Well, we were all in our camp. And then this huge loaf of bread just comes rolling down the mountain. And it's just massive, this barley loaf of bread just comes rolling down the mountain, and it smashes into our tent, and it hits our tent, and it just knocks it over, and our tent knocks the next tent over, and the next tent, and the next tent, and it's just a mass of dominoes, and all the tents fall down, and this one loaf of bread destroyed the entire army. And in one of my favorite scenes in the Bible, because not only does God give that guy the gift of prophecy, who doesn't believe in him, he also gives the other guy in the tent the gift of interpretation of prophecy. And the other guy says, it can be none other than the hand of the Lord and the army of Gideon. Back to sleep. Gideon's standing there with his servant, and he tries not to shout. Did you hear that? How could you not hear it, Gideon? Let's go back. And so they climb back up over the mountain, and they get down to the other side. And as he's coming down into the valley, God's putting a plan into his mind. And he wakes up his soldiers and says, everybody, I want you all awake. Wake up quietly. They'll wake up quietly. Everyone awake. Is everyone awake? Yes, we're all here, General. What is it? Well, listen carefully. I want you all to take 2 things with you. I want you to take a torch, and I want you to take a jar to put over the torch so that it just makes a spotlight where you're standing. Yeah, okay, General, we can do that. And we're gonna surround the Midianites right now. We're gonna what? Yeah, we're gonna surround them up on the ridges. We're gonna stand all the way around them, and we're gonna all have a jar and a torch. Gideon, can we bring our swords? Oh, yeah, I guess you can bring those if you want to bring them. They might be useful. Oh, okay. Gideon, what are we doing? You're just going to watch me, and I'll be standing at the farthest north point. And what I want you to do is, when you see me break my jar, and I also want, I forgot to tell you, I want you all to bring a trumpet. A trumpet? Yes, that's what you need. That's why the sword may be a bit cumbersome. You need the other hand for the trumpet. A torch and a trumpet. How are we going to fight, Gideon? That's the beauty of it. I don't think we have to. What do you mean, Gideon? Well, let's just try it. Let's just do what God's put in my mind, and let's go try it. And so they stand around the mountain ridges all the way around, and it's just before dawn. And Gideon's on one side, and he holds up his torch, and he breaks the jar, and the torch lights up, and all the other soldiers see the torch. And then Gideon pulls his trumpet up to his mouth, and he plays the call to battle. And then each of them break their jar all the way around, like just until there's 300 torches all lit up and 300 trumpets blaring. And down in the valley, the men of Midian heard 300 trumpets, 300 calls to arms, 300 calls to battle. And they came out and they saw 300 torches, and they realized, because the way that it worked was this: every troop, every squadron of men had a priest at the head of it, and that priest carried a torch and a trumpet. And that priest would play the call to battle, and he would stay at a distance because he wasn't a soldier. He just played the call to battle, and the soldiers would charge in. And so when the Midianites came out of their tent, they didn't see 300 men surrounding them. They saw 300 squadrons of men rushing in at them in their imagination, because they saw 300 torches and they heard 300 trumpets, and they thought, they knew there could be anywhere up to 1,000 men in every squadron. Where did Gideon get such an army? And then they thought, where are they? They have to be here. There's one coming out of my friend's tent. There's another one coming out of my other friend's tent. And they started killing the men as they came out of the tents, and they're charging around. I can't believe there's so many of them. They're everywhere. They're like camels. They're just like camels on the seashore, or however that phrase goes. They're like the sands of the seashore. And they're just killing them as they're coming out of all the tents. And pretty soon, hey, I'm doing the story. Pretty soon, there's just a few left. And they start running because they know there's this little corridor through where they can get out that quickly. And these Midianites are running towards it, and Gideon says, follow them. And so they come down in and they surround what's left. And they capture them. And only a couple kings escape. And a couple, because they rushed out as quick as they can, because kings are known for that. And they chase them down, they find them, they catch them. Gideon's 300 men won that day. Not because they were better soldiers, not because they were trained well enough to destroy the enemy, but because they suited up the way God asked them to suit up.